This book was written over about 10 to 20 years, and it took quite a while to get published. And because of that, there's a variety of styles. So there was that style of that last poem, a little bit kind of lyrical, confusing. This is a more prosaic piece right here. I have several long prosy pieces. This is called Van Gogh was throwing freight at the Dollar Tree in Oregon City, Oregon. There he was, all 5'4" of him, terribly gaunt, of course, but wiry and stronger than he looked. Perhaps it's how large he has become in our imaginations, but I expected he'd be taller. Just as I was sure it was Van Gogh, because self-portraits don't lie, do they? I was simultaneously positive it couldn't actually be him. Obviously, right? Perhaps someone equally crazy wearing a costume with natural physical similarities. Hell, I could play along. He did have the close-cropped red hair and angular features, and the first thing he did was demonstrate he wasn't afraid to climb into the trailer and work side by side with me, despite the fact that doing so went against Dollar Tree policy, injury and liability issues. I admit, at first I was disconcerted. Could it really be Van Gogh, a poseur? Did I want a genuine or a fake crazy person in the trailer with me? What about that ridiculous straw hat he wore, decorated with many brightly colored ribbons? Apparently he didn't worry much for his appearance, despite tauntings he must take daily from school children for it. Most alarming, the missing ear. Wow, that's hard to fake. But then you notice splatters of paint on his clothing, shoes, his hands and arms, rings and flecks under his fingernails, which were bit to the quick. You paint? I asked. Yeah, he responded. Mostly houses, my day job. The odd thing was the paint on his body and clothes weren't colors conventionally used in house painting, but why push it? We alternated throwing the boxes onto the rollers, which when moving quickly made a sound like a loud swarm of bees. I make my handful of francs here for a few hours a week. Francs? I smiled, humoring him. You mean dollars? No, common mistake, he smiled, not budging an inch. I'm Dutch, but moved here most recently from France. Ah, I said. If we were in California, I wouldn't be asking questions. Context would speak volumes. Okay. Sometimes Dollar Tree stores got temp help from the local rescue mission, especially in Spokane, I noticed. This never bothered me. Any help was help. Still, damn it, after all the self-portraits, how can you not know Van Gogh when one is standing and working and sweating right next to you, muscling through the heavier freight? I began to wonder if something were bothering me. A bad sausage and egg McMuffin for breakfast. Something slipped into the coffee. He could tell something was nagging at me. Perhaps it was because he was throwing 2 or 3 cases for every one of mine, and I couldn't stop staring. Finally he said, I remind you of someone. Believe me, I get this a lot. I'm not done yet. Sorry. All I could think to say, dumb as it was, damn, you're a hard worker, aren't you? Passionate too. But tell me really, who are you? Actor fallen on hard times? Color and light, he said. Light and color, always. Even throwing these trifles out the back end of a trailer, as if the heaven between moments were all that mattered. We, you and I, serve the mundane, the tedious till it sparkles. Eh, my truck driving friend? Time to play hardball with this little fruitcake, whoever he was, I decided. But you never worked a day in your life, except for a time as a failed art dealer, and at your art and painting. Your brother supported you tirelessly. Now we get to the heart of it then. His sharp blue eyes pierced me in the half-light of the dim trailer. Perhaps I am working to pay off my debts, which are many, many. Or perhaps I am not the man you take me for, seriously. After all, how could I be? But honestly, how could I be anyone else? Could you be mad? Are you merely stupid? Something else? I cannot see or believe for you. Perhaps I am, as I used to think of my life, on a voyage in a frail boat in perilous seas. Or perhaps I was like a man who poured so much life into my pictures, I neglected to live. In fact, somehow, he laughs, confused painting with life until now. Every day is extraordinary. We pilgrims sorrowful, yet always rejoicing. Despite my no-nonsense attitude, as I looked at him, he began to shimmer around the edges, not exactly lighting up, but brightening and blurring a bit around the edges. As he took his hat off and mopped at his brow, I thought about how little sleep I'd gotten last night as we finished, and he turned to walk to the edge and jumped nimbly down from the trailer. He pointed to the propaganda poster on the warehouse wall. Make every dollar count. I said, hey, thanks for the help today. He waved and nodded and turned a corner without looking back, heading for a smoke or a drink of water, no doubt. I placed the load locks and tightened the strap, lowering the rollers to the floor and feeling very tired. But my head was strangely buoyant and light, like a fever was coming on.